this is something a lot of people aren't talking about. So the decrease of the magnetics is what is driving the weather patterns and the shifts that we're seeing right now, including global warming and those kinds of things. So we know those are happening, and they are giving us an opportunity. I think they're giving us an opportunity to know ourselves in the presence of conditions that are unlike what we've lived in the past. And what that means is it's an opportunity for us to demonstrate our mastery of who we really are in this universe, in this reality. Because in that mastery, those changes come much easier to us. It's in our resistance to our mastery, those changes are tough. So when we feel that we're limited beings, and that our health is so very fragile, and that the way that we live is so fragile. It is in some respects. In other respects, it's a direct mirror of what's happening inside of our bodies. So that was one parameter, the magnetics. The second was there's the fundamental heartbeat of the Earth that the ancients talked about. The scientists first detected this in 1899. It's measured a number of different ways, but the bottom line is we know that fundamental heartbeat is speeding up. And we all know that because everyone says time is speeding up. Every country I've been to, people say it seems like time is speeding up. Why is that? Every cell in our body is in resonance, trying to keep time with the heartbeat of our Mother Earth. And as that heartbeat increases, our cells are trying to metabolize and maintain their existence and match that increase, and we perceive that change as time speeding up. So to us, it feels like things are going faster because they are in that respect. Those two parameters together are physical parameters that can be measured that tell us where we are at this time in history. And all I can say right now is we've got very low magnetics, and the pulse of the planet is twice what it was in the mid-1980s. And we're not sure where that's going to go. But I also have to say, I know people who spend all of their time preparing for the moment that the world changes, whether it's burying boxcars of food in their backyard or building a shelter, that will protect them from whatever. And if people feel good about that, I think it's probably a good thing to do. My experience is, if you spend your life preparing for all the bad things, you miss life. And by living the life that crosses our paths and honoring those changes, when the frightening things happen to us, honor that fear and go through what the ancient traditions suggest we go through to transcend that fear. And as we do that, it changes our bodies, and in that change, we've already prepared for whatever the earth is going to bring. Because as we change our beliefs, we are tuning our bodies to that pulse of the earth and to those magnetics. So rather than resist those things, the changes in the earth and the changes in our lives are the same, rather than separate, as some people would like to keep them separate. It's easier to think of them that way. We're made out of the same stuff the earth is made of. The same elements of the earth, nothing more, nothing less. And if our earth, our Mother Earth, is going through a magnetic shift and a pulse change, then that means we're going through it as well. We are tuned. We are in resonance. We've got tiny magnetic particles in our brain that tune us to the magnetic fields of the earth, just like all other animals do. We discount ours historically, and scientists now know that they're there. So the earth changes are our changes, and they're being mirrored in our bodies. If we understand that, then there's a beautiful system that's unfolding. If we don't understand that, then a mysterious change is happening that we try to address medically and maybe suppress. And it's just about honoring who we are and knowing who we are. It brings us back to the first question. We're more than the laws of physics and biology have ever led us to believe. And there's a power within us that transcends those limits, and it's that power that empowers us to participate in a beautiful change in our planet and a beautiful change in our bodies to become the greatest potential of who we are rather than live in the limits of what we've always believed. I do believe in life after death, and I believe that death is probably not what we've always believed it is. It's a continuation. The evidence is overwhelming. Scientific evidence, anecdotal evidence as well, cultural evidence, that we are part of this field that is now being called the divine matrix, that this field of energy, when I talk about that field of energy, what I've found is people tend to think of it as being somewhere else. So if we can think of this field of energy that bathes creation as a big, thick blanket with lots of fibers, and you and me and everyone listening to this and our lives, our world, are all within the fibers of that blanket. And it's a relatively smooth field of energy, and every once in a while it crystallizes into a rock or a tree or a human or a river. It helps us to kind of get a sense that we're part of that field. What we know is that consciousness crystallizes quantum possibilities into the physical realities of our world. And these bodies are physical realities. When the bodies are gone, that consciousness is still there as a quantum possibility, a quantum reality. And it appears, the evidence I think is overwhelming that we continue and cycle through that way. So the answer is yes. Maybe not in the way that you and I are having a conversation in this moment, but the essence that's Michael or the essence that's Gregg, I think will be around for a while. The work, this is the 20th year I've offered this work in one form or another. It's a living body of information. We never come to the same city with the same program twice. We haven't for 20 years. And that's what keeps it new and fresh for me as well as everyone that shares our work, because it's ever unfolding. I've dedicated some time in 2006 to translating the deeper layers of the DNA code. I feel it's important to do that, even though it's very controversial right now. And as soon as we find out what that is, we will share that with the world, because it's all of ours to understand. In support of that, I'm working with colleagues such as Dr. Bruce Lipton, a dear friend of mine, who is showing beyond the shadow of a doubt that we are not limited by the laws of biology as we know them today. And through my work showing that we're not limited by the laws of physics as we know them today. And all these things help us to change our beliefs about who we are. If we can see that we literally are carrying a message in ourselves, and that we're empowered, we're wired to create in this reality. We're architects of our creations, of our future, whether it's what our checkbook looks like at the end of the month, or what our relationships look like, or our careers, or the peace between nations, or the health of our bodies. It's all the same creation. And as we understand how these relationships work, that I believe is what empowers us and assures our success and our peace in the future. And anything that I can do to contribute to that, that's the way I've chosen to spend my life. I'd feel really good about anything that I can share that would support us as a family in coming together and recognizing that we are a family, and that sometimes, although it may not always be obvious, we do love one another in this world. And right now, although there's probably more, we're all we've got. And that we'll get much further through cooperation and sharing than we will through violent competition for a few resources that we think don't last long enough for others to have. And that's where our work is going. That's the thrust of everything that we do. And it'll take on many different forms throughout the years, but that's the crux.